I would like to welcome. She won NACE Speaker of the Year. She co-founded Wedding Venue Map and Venue Help Desk. She's phenomenal, she is. And please welcome Shannon Tarrant.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, we're live. Oh, that's a lot of people and a lot of faces. Are we ready to go today? Have you learned tons of things so far? Perfect. So I will give you an opportunity to download the slides in the middle of the presentation. So if you're an audio learner like me and you want to just listen, you can download the whole deck with everything I list. Make it very easy for you. So today's topic is a hot one because there's a lot of things that you think you're not doing wrong that I can guarantee that you are. We're gonna share about the sales process and about how couples today are so overwhelmed and they get lost every step along the way. And you're gonna think a lot of times, that's not me, I don't do that. And yeah, you do. You do it all the time because I listen to couples and they tell me they're super freaking overwhelmed. From the day they start planning, looking for a venue, step by step, they're so lost along the way. And when they're overwhelmed, they don't purchase from you, right? They don't make that next step to sign the contract, to respond to your email response. How many people get ghosted in here? Me too, but not as often as you do, I bet. But they back out, they hide, and they disappear. And it's not because the couples are stupid, even though sometimes in my head, I think that. Why are they so dumb? I don't understand. They're not dumb, they're just confused. They don't understand the terminology we use, the way we lay things out, and we're not creating a clear path to the yes. So some of you may know me. Who was in the venue track yesterday? My foul language will not make an appearance on this stage, so I hope you enjoyed it yesterday. Keep it to myself today. But I work with venues across the country, really helping them as a sales strategist hone their systems to stop getting ghosted, get those tours to move through to a contract. And what we really specialize in is about that sales clarity, that when you can get people to move through your funnel so much faster, it brings you more bookings. And you don't really have to spend more money on leads because you already have leads sitting there that are not signing. So what if you didn't need to convince them? They're already ready to go. And what if you didn't need to chase people, right? The lead comes in, we just move it through the funnel and close them. If we could change all of these things with some of the things you'll learn today, you'll make more money next week if you make the moves. The other half of my life, as Clint introduced me, is I own a company in Central Florida called Wedding Venue Map. We're a local directory, and my job is to capture the couples and to shove them into the local vendors' sales funnels. We have venue and vendor partners. The best part about that job is I get to listen. All I do is listen to couples whining and complaining about all of you because we're a free resource. So it's very easy for them to just tell us how they're feeling, where they're getting stuck. So combined, I get to take the knowledge I learned from the couples and I get to pass it directly over and teach you. So I have the joy, the thrill to participate in over 20 wedding shows a year. And at wedding shows, we offer a service called concierge wedding planning, where we sit down with the couples, we meet with them one by one, we ask them a ton of questions, and we help to matchmake venues, vendors, and people in our market to be able to help them. So today, we're gonna take Mike and Susie, who I met at a recent wedding show, on their journey of planning their wedding, and all the things they diarrheaed of the mouth telling me that they hate about you. See, Mike and Susie loved the idea. They were so excited to plan their wedding. They had just gotten started with everything, and they were making their guest list and everything, and it led to direct overwhelm. And they were like, I give up, we're just gonna elope. And that actually broke my heart because we've got amazing venues, vendors, everything in our market. We have so many great choices for them, but they were in a spot where they immediately were like, I'm done, I quit. We're gonna just elope, we'll go somewhere else, maybe we'll have a small wedding. They weren't overwhelmed by the planning at all. They were overwhelmed by the process of planning and the steps they had to take. They didn't know what package was right for them. They didn't understand what they were actually even getting with all the packages they were looking at. So there's 3 sales moments that we're gonna dig into today that if we can fix these 3 areas specifically within your business, we will make more money before the end of the year. First is pricing and packages. Second is the meeting. And third is the follow through after the fact. All right, let's start with the first and probably the biggest, because this is where all of the couples actually start. I like to call this the decision fog. They're excited, they fill out 96,000 forms on the Knot, Wedding Wire, Zola, your website, the Instagram DM, and all of this stuff is coming at them. And then they just get lost because they start reading all these things that you're sending them, and it looks like a Cheesecake Factory menu. If those of you who do not have Cheesecake Factory in your market, these 2 pages are just the cheesecake and the desserts. The actual menu itself is like 40 pages long. And then the couples do what I do at Cheesecake Factory, and I say, screw it, I'm just gonna get the orange chicken again. Because I start reading and I'm like, it's too much. Like, I can't handle all of this. And if people can't tell what's actually right for them, they'll just assume that nothing's right for them. So we're making a mistake as we're sending all this information to them. Mike and Susie were looking at 20 different wedding venues. 20, that's right, 20. You know what else they were looking at? Barns and ballrooms and gardens and moody downtown. Come on, guys. Pick something you like and get moving. But they don't know. They're not sure what they want. They're not sure what they like. So when you're creating your packages and pricing, you're making humongous mistakes. You're not guiding them. You're just listing everything that's included. There's an assumption when I choose a venue that that venue comes with tables and chairs. And I'm not saying you shouldn't list tables and chairs, but Lordy, if you have 6 bullet points about your tables and chairs and you have a 6 foot and an 8 foot and 60-inch rounds and 72-inch rounds, they don't even know what that means. They don't understand it, right? It's like a CVS receipt sometimes when we get these packages from you guys. I'm like, oh my God, does any of this make a difference? If you've got package names like silver, gold, and platinum, congratulations, you're a jeweler. If you're gonna name your packages, they damn sure better be something towards what it is. There should be an implication of levels of service if you're gonna do it. We also use a lot of words that the couples don't understand. Mike started asking me, what's a shooter? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, all these photographer packages have 1 shooter or 2, like, do they bring guns? You wouldn't think that that would be an issue, right? But they just don't know because the words we use, how many of you use BEO to a couple? They don't know what the heck a BEO is. They have no idea what it is. For them, it's so much to take in. It's so overwhelming. And then when they get overwhelmed, what do? Nothing. They ghost you. They don't reply. They disappear because they don't know what it is they're supposed to be doing next. So they get lost. You've got to figure out how you can word the things so that ultimately they turn around and are like, oh, that's me. That package, this space, this vendor is for me. And if you're not doing that well, we're gonna work on that today. Because if you don't take the time to do that, they're scrolling right past you. They're continuing to fill out more forms. They're continuing to scroll through Instagram and save other people's stuff. You're getting lost in all of those pieces and parts. So the fix number 1 we're gonna work on is we're gonna add a who it's for line to each of our packages and price. I mean, first you're gonna get rid of the CVS receipt. Let's start there. But once we do that, we want to add who it's actually for. So instead of things like partial planning includes 10 meetings and 3 venue visits, they're thinking, why do I need 10 meetings? Why do I need 3 venue visits? Instead, you're saying perfect for couples who've booked most of their vendors, but they want a pro to take over and bring it home. Very different, right? You want them to be able to say, that's me. Now I know, just like every conference I speak at across the country, there's people in this room who are like, oh my God, duh, Shannon. I'm looking for the advanced tip here. I already do all this. I've already slimmed this down. I've already learned all of this. So here's your 1 advanced tip. And if your packages look like crap, do not do this next tip. You gotta fix that first. But for the advanced peeps in the room, I want you to test and start playing out with the idea of quizzes. See, my entire team under the age of Wedding Venue Map is under the age of 35. Everyone's very young. And I said, what if we made a quiz for the couples and all of them lit up like a Christmas tree? Quizzes? I love quizzes. I was like, seriously? Like, I didn't realize it was such a huge, to have that interactive level. So there's a great company called Interact. It's a tech tool. I love good tech tools. You can use ChatGPT. You want it to be no more than 5 to 7 questions, but this could be a lead magnet for your business. They come to your website and it says, figure out which package is right for you or whatever you want. I mean, have Chatty do it. I have a well-oiled relationship with my ChatGPT. Her name is Chatty, and it's definitely a woman. Sorry, guys, no chance is ChatGPT a man. No chance. So I worked with Chatty, and you can put together a quiz. And at the end of this, they answer all the questions and it says, this package is right for you. But to get the answer, they put in their name, their email address, and anything else you want. Now, you just got them as a lead. The name, the email, and which package, based upon their answers, were perfect for them. That's a much stronger lead than just a generic lead coming into your inbox. Next mistake that you're making, your pricing feels like a test. You know what Mike said? I started getting all these things, and he's an analytical accountant, and he said, I feel like I'm doing my taxes. Packages are so complicated. It's this price, plus this per person, plus tax, plus service charge, minus this, service charge on the venue rental, but not on the food. He was like, I don't get it. It's so freaking complicated. So we need to simplify the choices down. You should never have more than 3 options: good, better, best. And your better should be your most common. Most couples choose this. Because when you have the best, when I worked at a venue, we had an insane best package. It was stupid. It was like $300 a person. Only 2 people a year ever bought it. But you know what everybody else bought? They'd look through that and be like, I don't want this whole thing, but can I have that one and that one and that one? And I'd get them to get past the better into some of the items on the best. 3 packages at the most, and add some simple taglines underneath it. Is this good for small celebrations? Our most popular package? All-in coverage? Whatever of those things is really gonna move the needle. All right, the next obstacle I get, but everything I do is custom, Shannon. I don't do packages. Who's thinking that right now? Be honest. Yeah, I see a few, right? I know you think that packages can't work for what you do, but I promise you they can. Because if there are not packages built, the couples themselves make an immediate assumption that you are super expensive and above their budget. If you don't talk about pricing, it's like a restaurant. If I was gonna look up a restaurant menu in Vegas and there's no prices or no information about price, I'm gonna assume it's probably out of my budget, right? That's an easy assumption. You're getting stuck in the same path. So an easy fix for this is to think about, custom doesn't have to be super confusing, right? You can show them how customization fits within a range. So this is a florist I work with in our market. And I said, what if you just made a chart that said, for 6,000 to 9,000, this is what you're gonna get. For 9,000 to 15,000, this is what you're gonna get. For more than 15,000, this is what you're gonna get. And when you look at all of those things, you know what this tells me if I'm a couple? If I don't have $6,000, I probably shouldn't call you. Which is true. It's how she weeds out the people that are not the right fit. It's not, it depends. The flowers, the type, the season, where can I get them from? I get it. But this gives enough information to me as the customer to fill out the form, for me to take the next steps along the sales journey. So when you create clear packaging and pricing, what happens is the fog clears. And now they're ready to take the next step in the journey, which should be booking a meeting with you, right? It should be, with a venue, it's them coming to a tour. With a vendor, it's either an in-person meeting, Zoom, phone call, any of the above. So Mike and Susie are ready. They've read your packages, they love them, they're booking appointments, and they're super excited to meet with you. They've scheduled the meeting, they show up so excited because they've already narrowed down, right? On average, they're not meeting much more than 3 to 5 vendors in any given category. So you are already on the short list if they are taking a meeting with you, and they are ready to be impressed by you. And you know what you do? Take a big old an info dump on them. They come in and you just dump information. You start running through processes and procedures and whatever. And Mike and Susie are like, what is happening right now? If you are doing all the talking, they stop listening. And they literally are just buried in a pile of poo. Because they're sitting there thinking there's no clarity from it when you info dump on people. All they know is all these things you're telling them, and they're not retaining any bit of it, and they're doing stuff like this. You know how I know? Because I have someone on my team who does this to me at least once a week. I'm talking to her, and she does this. Yeah, And I'm like, do you have any idea what I'm saying? She's like, no. I was like, were you gonna tell me? No. You wanna know why? Because she doesn't like confrontation, which there's an entire generation of them. And when you don't like confrontation, they're never gonna tell you to stop because they don't understand what you're saying. They're gonna do this all the way out the door and never answer your phone call or email again. So we've got to stop pitching to them. We have to start actually connecting when we're in the meeting. We need to take the time to lead with their story. You need to learn and understand what it is they actually want. Before you start telling them all the things you can do, you have to understand what's the pain point that you're freaking solving. Because if you don't know, then it doesn't really work all that well, right? If you don't take the time to ask before you start info dumping on them what's important to them, you'll lose them. You've got to stop focusing on your processes. They don't care about your delivery process at this point. We don't even know if I want to hire you yet. So you're overwhelming them and you're listing a ton of features instead of solving them with benefits. So the first fix is the 70-30 rule. You should literally only be speaking 30% of the time and listening the other 70%. Because when you start listening, something wild happens. They start using all of the words for you to repeat back to close the sale. So they'll say, oh, you know what, I'm so excited. We'll do floral. I'm so excited about my bouquet. I can't even, it's the only thing I care about with the flowers. I just want it to be big and luscious and over the top. And now you start talking through other things and you start using the words big and luscious and over the top. And they're like, oh, she gets me. That's me, right? If I'm a DJ, you start saying, what's the most important part about the music for your wedding? And they're like, oh, the first dance. We want an epic first dance moment. I want to dance on a cloud and cold sparks go up and balloons drop from the ceiling. Like, I want all the things. They will tell you if you will shut up and listen. Now, as you can tell, I like to talk a lot. Give me a stage and a microphone and I'm here for it any day of the week. I have been working on this for my entire career and I cannot get past 60-40. I cannot shut up enough to get to 70-30. I have been trying and trying and trying. I actually go as so far in meetings that I have to actually cover my own mouth. I'm like, because my brain wants to say the next thing. But this isn't about being perfect. It's about acknowledging that you do this. And if you're right now 70-30 in the wrong direction, let's just move the needle little by little when we get home. All right, the next mistake is you're way explaining so much that they'll never even understand you. You've got so much knowledge and experience, right? The DJs in the room, I'm picking on you hardcore. You guys start talking about equipment like anybody gives a... They don't care. They don't care about your Bose speakers, your mixers. They don't know what any of that means. Photographers, you start talking about lenses and Canons and cameras and it. Who cares? Stop sharing the knowledge and focus on what's actually important to them and shift that mindset. So we've got to simplify the script. So instead of walking them through every single package or a suggested timeline or additional add-on options, let's just start what matters most to you. And I'll show you which option fits best. Because if you can guide the journey and not info dump all over them, it'll really change the game. Because really the ultimate solution is you want Mike and Susie to say, he gets me. They understand me. They know what I want. And when you can hit that clarity moment, they will actually purchase from you and they start to trust you. No one's gonna give you money if they have no trust for your business all the way through. Clarity builds confidence and confidence is gonna build conversion. You have to create clarity through the sales process. They're lost, they're overwhelmed. They don't know what to do next. So your job is to clean all that up. All right. If you want my slides for today, download them. Scan the QR code, throw it in your email. We're also giving you a great bonus from Venue Help Desk. We're giving everyone here at the conference a $20 gift card to go blow it on the website. We've got tools and templates and mini courses and classes and all the things. When you fill in your email, it will send you the gift card. I'll leave this up for a second and we'll start talking about Mike and Susie again. So Mike and Susie have been through your meeting. You've listened to Shannon's presentation today, and you have cleaned up your meeting process. You have started to actually ask them the questions to learn more about them. You've started to understand what it is that they do, what they need, what they want, what makes the most sense for them. And now that we've done that, the fog has already been lifted on the packages, and now we've swept all the poop away. It's all gone. Because the meeting with you, it went great. They loved it. They were super happy. They felt like somebody gets us. Clarity cannot stop when they walk out the door. Because we know that in general, the majority of couples are not making a decision immediately. It's taking long, we've been talking about it for months. It's taking longer and longer and longer for them to make a decision, right? So we've got to lean in on the follow through when it comes to the meeting itself. This is where the majority of you drop the ball because you're spinning so many freaking plates. You have so many balls you're juggling in the air. You have new leads coming in. You have weddings and events this weekend. You've got moms asking stupid questions who should have been at the meeting and weren't there. You've got maids of honor asking, who are you? Go away, right? People are showing up with children to meetings that you just want to punt in the face, right? All these things are happening, and what happens is your hottest leads that have gone through the sales process, who are on the verge of purchasing, happen to be the ones that get left behind. Because you've done such a good job of listening to all us experts saying you have to reply to your leads fast, that these people get lost in the middle of the process. And then what happens? You get ghosted. So Mike and Susie left the meeting on a high note. They loved you. They were ready to go. You followed up once or twice, and then nothing in response, right? This is the part that no one loves to admit. We got ghosted, but it's actually our fault. It's a complete follow-up failure because a million things happened. I don't know, if anybody called me in the last 2 weeks to say they needed anything, if I owe any of you an email, sorry, I didn't send it because I was getting ready for Wedding MBA. Things happen and people get busy, and it doesn't mean that they don't still want to work with you. You're just giving up too early. There's a gap right in the middle where the couples are doing the meeting and the actual signed contract. This is where clarity just dies because you've built clarity through the meeting and then they disappear. You've got to stop waiting for them to take the lead. You are the salesperson, put that hat on, and you have to be the one to guide them through the process. Not one follow-up and then assume, oh, they ghosted me. One follow-up. Come on, my friends. Yeah, we're a little harder than that. You're waiting to give them space. You need to get another job. Because if you can't learn how to actually sell these people, your business will struggle to be very profitable. You cannot keep giving people space. You cannot keep thinking, if they really want me, they'll reach out. You know what happens to you then? You people are screwed because I'm a better salesperson than you and I will close it when I get that meeting. If I get in front of them, you lost them guaranteed. But Mike and Susie loved you. They were ready, they just got lost. Days turns into week, and you're the one who actually disappeared on them. You built trust. And then you disappeared on them. Now, do I want you to hunt them down like a leopard on the savannah? Yes. No, that's dramatic. I do love the thrill of the kill of sales, but that might be a bit much. I'm just looking for you to lead the conga line. Tell them where to go, what it is they should be doing next. Lead that follow-up to exactly what the next steps are. So your follow-up after a meeting needs to be within 24 hours while their excitement is still fresh. Same day if you can do it, but 24 hours at max. Make the email you send so easy to skim it. Skim, not paragraphs. Scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It has to be short body, clear subject line, and a very clear, bold call to action. Reference something personal from the meeting and end with the next clear step. So it can be as simple as looking something like this. Hey, Mike and Susie, it was great to meet you on Tuesday. I loved how excited you got about dancing on a cloud at your wedding. Here's the link to review your personal proposal and lock in your date. Boom. Now they know exactly what they can do. What are the next steps? They're right in front of them. It's not about writing paragraphs. Simplify the system. Those of you using Honeybook, Dubsado, 17 Hats, Go High Level, all of those platforms have proposals built into them. Send them something that's personal. Removing the confusion that will kill the momentum. Because if they're confused and they don't really understand and they don't remember what you said, sometimes couples, when they're touring venues, guys, and they come on a Saturday, they tour 3 that day. You think they remembered what the first venue said? It's all gone. They got lost in the process. Now, I'm gonna die on this soapbox because I love AI. Like I said, Chatty's my new bestie. You cannot automate the follow-up away because when you're just using ChatGPT to write your emails, you're losing the connection. I appreciate the efficiency of AI, but you're losing the connection. When the email doesn't feel personal and it sounds like a robot, they're less likely to ghost me, Shannon, because they're a fan of me. They're damn sure gonna ghost Shannon, the AI, who wrote an email that wasn't sarcastic, sassy, inappropriate, didn't make them laugh what they were expecting. My AI says, "Dear Susie, thank you for your inquiry. Attached find our packages for your review." That doesn't sound anything like me. Now you can train your AI chatbot, you can train them to sound like you, but you've got to do the work of prompting correctly. You've got to feed the beast. You got to teach her. Like our actual ChatGPT says, am I writing this email like Shannon, who's inappropriate, sarcastic, funny, and will probably make you laugh? Or am I writing it like Ian, who's professional, concise, clear? And I'm like, it's Shannon, let's go, girl. And she's like, woo. But I trained her to know who I am and what my tone is, right? You want it to sound more personal and like you actually care. So use the AI tools, just be really careful about automating your life away, because when you lose the personal, they don't move. If you dump them after a meeting into an 8-email series that has nothing personal to what you talked about, conversion rates will go down. Another mistake is the empty follow-up. Just checking in. Can we promise that just checking in dies today? When you go home, the next time you type the words just checking in, you're gonna hit backspace, backspace. Shannon told me never to do that again. We're also gonna kill let me know. Just let me know. That's not a call to action. Could you imagine if at the end of a great date, the guy was like, let me know if you wanna go out again. Let me know. You know, when I first met my boyfriend on a dating app, I sent a great message to him and said, hey, it looks like we have a lot in common. We've traveled some of the same places. You know, do you want to chat? And he wrote back, sure, why not? Yeah, the women in the room read it like I read it. And I raged back. Sure, why not? I'm freaking impressive. What do you mean, sure, why not? Like you got nothing better to do? He was like, no, I meant like, sure, why not? And I was like, oh, I did not read that tone correctly, right? But it's like when you're saying, let me know, you're not guiding anything. You're just like, hey, let me know what you want to do. When they don't know what to do next, they literally fall in the gap. They fall in the hole. You leave them standing at the edge without knowing where to go next. So you have to give them the next step. You have to have them clear, reserve your date, confirm by Friday to lock in your pricing. 1, 2, 3 bullet points. Step 1, step 2, step 3 to move it forward. It needs to be clean, clear, simple. They need to know exactly what they do next. Your job is to build the bridge. Your job is to take the next step and show them where to go. Because this is where the pros separate themselves, right? 60 seconds before the end of any meeting, you should actually start the follow-up. We talk about the chase after the fact, but we're missing the step before they walk out the door with you. You want to start it then and there, because they just listen to you for an hour because you talk too much. You 70-30'd in the wrong direction. And now they're like, it's so much information. So we need to build the bridge at the end of the meeting. Here's what happens next. I'll send you a follow-up email today. Everything we talked about in a proposal form and a link to officially hold your date. When they walk out the door ready to go, they walk out the meeting knowing exactly what's coming next, it creates complete clarity. And then they leave at the end of it sold. They're not like, oh, we're considering this person. The decision has been made. It's ready to go. They have the aha moment that says, you know what? I'm ready to go. I want to book this person. When you make it so easy, they don't ghost you, they book. I'm going to whip through so I can get you to lunch. So just to run through it one more time. We're going to make your pricing easy to understand. We're going to guide the meeting and stop info dumping on them. We're going to give them the next step before they actually leave. We're going to follow up fast with clarity. And we're gonna cut clever and choose clear. So, you know, we started this talking about what happens if you get sales clarity within your business. Our students at Venue Help Desk with Lead Conversion Lab and Tortillas Success, our 2 courses, have incredible results when they implement these types of things I'm teaching you. 3 out of 4 tours booked, 5 out of 6 tours booked, 9 tours booked in 30 days. Right? You've got to take the steps to actually become a freaking salesperson. Because what happens when you close the sale more? We make more money. And when we make more money, what would you do with that? Would you hire more staff? Would you buy the equipment that you wish you buy? Would you buy the bubble machines I told the venues they should purchase yesterday? Would you take a freaking vacation? Would you take time off? Would you have more profit? What would you do with that cash if you could just close more of the sales you're already having? Clarity always closes what confusion kills. The next generation is not making the choice. They're not choosing your business because they don't know why they should choose you. So create that clarity and they'll move right on. If you still need the slides, download them here. Thank you so much. Come see me in the booth. I'll be in the Venue Help Desk booth.